Hey veterans, thanks for tuning into Operation Veterans Edge. I really appreciate it, and I intend to make this video very useful for you if you are doing a VA claim. I call this series the Rally Point Claims Counseling. This one is very specifically focused on making sure that you get the rating you deserve and that your claim, when you file it, whether you're doing that through a VSO or you're doing it through my organization or you're doing it on your own, doesn't matter. I'm going to walk you through 9 fieldcraft nuggets most veterans never hear, and we'll finish with one big rock at the very end. And this big rock really dawned on me. I came to realize after I was talking to a veteran the other day that there's just, even with this information coming out with these big channels out here, they're really great, tons of great information coming out from them, but there's something they're missing. And that's what we're going to talk about. I'm Chris Mendham, founder of Operation Veterans Edge. We build evidence-first VA claims that stand up under scrutiny. Super important in the world of fraud going on right now in the VA claims. This series, I said, Rally Point Claims Counseling, because it's not just news. This is where we regroup and we talk straight about how we win the claim fight. If you appreciate this content and you find it useful, please like, follow, subscribe, and hit that bell. And forward this on to a battle buddy so that they can also share in the knowledge. One thing that you all need to understand, reframe your mindset. As veterans, we're wired to serve the bigger mission. We were never and still are not sick call rangers. We gut it out. We tell ourselves others had it worse. I only did 4 years. I never deployed. We create reasons to not file when we probably should. Here's the truth. This compensation, it was set aside for you because you were willing to set aside yourself for your country. Both sides of the political aisle voted for this system that we currently have in place. And that doesn't mean that they made it easy to access, though. That's why I spend so much time at Operation Veterans Edge helping veterans figure it out properly. Nugget number 1, open your runway. What does that mean? Step 1, you're going to file an intent to file. Yeah, most of you already knew that one. I got it. File your intent to file. But one call buys you 12 months of back pay protection. So all you got to do is go into your intent to file basically and provide a little bit of information about yourself. You got to say, I'm John Doe and my last 4 is 1234. And I want to open an intent to file for disability compensation. That's about it. You can do this hard copy. You can do this online. I think online is the best way to go. It's like setting a rally point. You secure your ground first and then you gather what you need. Don't start blind. Start the clock. All right, so nugget number 2. Some of you have heard some of these, some of you haven't. And number 2 is to get service connected, the VA needs 3 things. These 3 things, the big 3. What are they? 1, 2, 3. Proof of service, DD-214. Number 2, current diagnosis of chronic or residual. And then number 3, you're going to need the link between those 2 things, meaning a link between your current diagnosis and your service. Yeah, you've heard this part before, but here's the difference. A diagnosis in service may be enough for a Nexus. A diagnosis years later, you're going to need medical opinion to bridge that gap. Most people stop at, you need a Nexus, but they don't tell you what that really looks like in the file. I'm going to show you that in a minute, okay? Okay, nugget number 3, know your lane. Are you filing direct or presumptive? Direct means that the condition shows up during your service window. Are you filing direct or presumptive? Direct means that the condition shows up during your service window or you tie it back to your service directly. Then presumptive means that the VA already concedes the link for your time or place that the stuff is tied to. Think about Agent Orange, think about PACT Act. Nugget number 4, match the rating words. Okay, so the VA doesn't rate based on how miserable you feel. It rates based on the words in the schedule. You've got to match your evidence to those words. Think about migraines. Keep a log showing frequency, prostrating attacks, and economic impact. For your knee, document range of motion with a goniometer. Make sure that the doctor is using a goniometer when they are doing your knee range of motion. Then there's back and radiculopathy, which you'll get documented your reflexes, sensory conditions, strength changes, straight leg raise, distribution of weight, all kinds of stuff is going to go in there to those notes for that condition. If these words don't show up in your file, the VA pretends they don't exist. So get them into clinic notes, a DBQ or a short provider letter before you file. Nugget number 5, the simple Nexus script. A lot of you know this, but a lot of you still don't, so we're going to cover it. Doctors are not magicians. They need a script, and here's what it is. I write really great Nexus letters as examples all the time, But this is the basis of it. This is the basic information that you need to have in there. You can do this yourself. You're going to write in there, in my medical opinion, the veteran's condition, your condition, is at least as likely as not 50% or greater probability caused by or aggravated by events in service. This opinion is based on records reviewed, list all the records out, history, list whatever kind of history is in there, and clinical findings, then list the clinical findings. That's it. 2 sentences. It uses the right legal standard and it's defensible and it gets the job done. You can get a lot more fancy than that. You can tie it to medical journals. You can do all kinds of stuff, but really that's what you need. There you go. You have it right there. Nugget number 6. So for nugget number 6, it's all about lay statements. Lay statements are super important, but they're not novels. They need to be short, crisp, clean, concise. For your personal lay statement, you can do some functional impact, and you should. And you might do another lay statement that's specifically tied to timeline, that gives a timeline of each condition, especially if you have a big gap between the time that the condition started in service and today. Is there a reason? Was it that you were being seen this entire time, but you just did not get seen or did not pursue a VA claim at that point? Is it that you didn't get seen for whatever circumstances were going on in your life? If there's something worthwhile to note there, note it, because they're going to be wondering why that is. So put that in there. And then also just, from point A to point B, all the things that you've done to work on that condition. And then for your family and buddy lay statements, just to tell you really shortly, it needs to document functional impact. If they saw the event, it needs to be a witness statement. I saw John fall out of the back of the truck roughly around this time of year or day or whatever they remember. And after that, I noticed that he was limping, and for weeks later, he was still limping. And then today, whenever I see him, he's still dealing with the pain from that event. That's good. More detail, but I've got an actual entire video on lay statements right here that you can watch and get a lot more information out of that. For family's really good at giving you the day-to-day that you really need to know about for those raters. A family member can say, he's no longer able to do these things, I have to do all the work, whatever the case may be. But remember, 4 clean bullets beat a 4-page memoir every single time. Make it crisp, make it understandable, make it clean, give the high-level functional impact. All right, so nugget number 7. Do not let the CNP do the work. Compensation and pension exams are snapshots. They're not biographies. If it's not in your record before the exam, don't expect the examiner to dig it up. Prime the file first. So that means make sure that all the information, all the evidence is collected and it's ready to go with you. And I recommend anytime you go to a CNP exam, you take everything that you think they should have with you just in case for some reason they didn't get it. It happened to me once. I had all my stuff. I provided it. Then they went back and found it and they used it. But just to show that there is some documentation there, because it does happen that sometimes those folks don't actually get it for whatever reason. All right, so nugget number 8. I actually have another video on this as well, but I'm not going to link it. Secondaries, the dominoes, secondary effects. So the domino effect of I had a back problem that led to a knee problem because of an altered gait, that led to an ankle problem, that led to another ankle problem, that led to a knee problem, that made things even worse, and then you get the idea. So one condition leads to another condition. Why don't you do it? So think about this, like dominoes, like I said, knee to hip, back to radiculopathy, chronic pain to mental health, anxiety and depression, PTSD tied to sleep apnea. These are all very common occurrences, and I talk to veterans about this regularly. So think about the domino effect. And if you need to understand your secondary condition potentials, get in touch with me at Operation Veterans Edge and let me help you connect those dots, because I do it all the time and I'd be happy to help you. If a service-connected condition causes or aggravates another thing, that second one can be filed as a secondary. That's the basis of this. You still need a diagnosis plus Nexus, and you need to stack all these dominoes up and let them fall. All right, so nugget number 9. Here we are. Timing and treatment. Show up to your appointments. Try treatments. Document if you can't tolerate the treatment. If your CPAP doesn't work or you can't wear it, make notes on that. Keep a journal. Put it in a file. Make sure that you take that to a doctor and you get them to see that. And then go through the treatment steps that they give you and see if it helps. And hopefully it does. But if it doesn't, continue to go back to that provider and tell them it doesn't, so that you can get that documented as well, because it's going to become important for you in the future, I'm sure, especially with what's probably coming up in December. All right, so the big rock, here we are. This is what I said that I was going to give you that I haven't seen out there much. So everyone says that you need to know the rating schedule, and that is 100% true. You should know the rating schedule. But what you're not hearing a lot is that you need to map those exact diagnostic code words into your medical records before you file. There it is. That's what you need to do. In order to do this, you need to bring the VA's rating criteria to your provider. And when you bring that to them, you need to ask them to mirror that language that applies to you. Frequency, measurements, threshold. I have a very specific way that I help my veterans out with this, the veterans that I work with on a daily basis. It's a little secret that I have. It is totally legit. It is totally fair play, but it is super useful, and it's something that nobody else thinks about. That is the secret sauce that I hold, so I don't give that one up. But for those of you working with me, you know what it is, and it really helps them. So super, super easy for them to use when they go to the doctor. And I'm going to leave it at that. If they won't do it, if they won't use this language, ask them to do a DBQ as a second option. Maybe they won't do that. If they don't do that, fire them. Like if they won't do one or the other, fire them, especially if they are a private insurance kind of provider. Get rid of that doctor, at least while you're doing your VA claim. Go find one that's veteran friendly and use them instead. That's not to say shop doctors. That's to say if they are not veteran friendly, go to another doctor. Yeah. So this step, this big rock, makes your file really easy to rate. So VA raters, they don't connect dots. No, they don't have time for that. What they do is they have a checklist with boxes, and they check boxes. So don't expect them to do the extra legwork. Make it easy for them. If the words are there, you're going to win. If they aren't, you're going to fight an uphill battle. You might win, you probably won't. But there you have it. You got a bit of the secret sauce. If you really want the rest of the secret sauce, get in touch with Operation Veterans Edge, and I'm going to make it work for you. I'm going to give you that secret tool. So heart check veterans, you're not taking money away from anybody by doing a VA claim. In fact, that money was set aside for you. Remember that. You're claiming what was promised to you. Service ends, but the consequences don't. These benefits exist because you are willing to give yourself up for the bigger mission. You might have given yourself up for 2 years, 4 years, 6 years, 8 years, 12 years, 20 years. So at Operation Veterans Edge, we help veterans map their evidence, sleep studies, DBQs, Nexus letters, lay statements, all so that they can allow their claims to speak for themselves. DM us, use the link in my bio, set up a free discovery call. Go check out my free symptom journal and go get it and use that to help you in your VA claim. For a quick recap, we talked about opening up your runway with an intent to file. We talked about proving the big three, meaning that you were in the service, you have a diagnosis, and that you have a nexus tying your condition to service. Know your lane, match the rating words, get a clean nexus, use short, sharp lay buddy statements. Do not rely on a CNP for gathering evidence. Stack your secondaries and let them fall like dominoes. And then document timing and treatment. And then the big rock. Mirror the rating criteria in your records before you file. That makes it very easy to understand for a rater, and that's what you want. All right. Thanks for sticking with me. This was our Rally Point Claims Counseling with Operation Veterans Edge. We're here to cut through the noise and help you stack a file that wins VA claims. Remember my motto. It's your claim, it's our mission. And I'll add this as well. Stack the record and win the outcome. I'm Chris Mendham. Thanks for sticking around with me. I'll see you at the next Rally Point. Please like, follow, subscribe, hit that bell, and send this off to your friends so that they can be as educated as you are and they can go win their VA claims as well. Thanks. I'm going to talk to you later.